A crazed deer suddenly charged toward the two of them. Before they even had time to react, the deer suddenly exploded, splattering green liquid all over the walls. Jack and Lucy are the administrators of this mysterious warehouse. One night they suddenly heard strange noises coming from inside the warehouse. They discovered that the sound was coming from within a wall. Using their tools, they smashed through the wall. They found that only one device seemed to be malfunctioning. The two decided to search inside the warehouse to find the exact source of the noise. What they didn't know was that this place was actually a secret site that had been sealed for 50 years. Looking at the seemingly bottomless underground warehouse, the two of them were filled with curiosity. After going down into the depths, they discovered a group of green rats. Seeing such strange-looking rats, neither of them realized how serious the situation was. Inside one of the rooms, a green substance was slowly spreading outward. Lucy even reached out her hand trying to touch it. Fortunately, Jack stopped her just in time. As they were leaving, they checked the markings on the warehouse and realized something seemed wrong. They decided that they should report this situation. At that moment, Lucy suddenly noticed a strange deer staring at them. Curious, Lucy followed the direction the deer went. They were shocked to discover that the deer actually opened the elevator and walked inside. Both of them were stunned and decided they needed to report this situation immediately. When they ran upstairs, they happened to run into that same deer again. At that moment, they realized this deer was extremely abnormal. Suddenly, the deer charged toward them. Luckily, they managed to dodge in time. Just as they were still in shock, a strange-looking man walked out of the elevator. This man turned out to be Lucy's ex-boyfriend. They quickly realized that something was terribly wrong with him. His entire body had turned green, and he was acting extremely violent. With nowhere else to go, Jack and Lucy hid inside a storage room. Fortunately, the man seemed no longer capable of thinking normally. He turned around and walked away. But just as Jack stood up, he accidentally made a noise. Jack carefully tried to close the door quietly. At the critical moment, Jack successfully locked the door. Outside, the man kept pounding violently on the warehouse door. Realizing how serious the situation was, the two contacted the military. They explained in detail everything that had happened inside the warehouse. However, the person on the phone simply told them to stay calm. Rescue would arrive in 40 minutes. Having no other choice, the two could only wait inside the warehouse. Meanwhile, the people who answered the call were actually individuals who had witnessed this virus 50 years earlier. A mysterious virus from outer space had once arrived on Earth, along with a spacecraft that landed in the desert. 30 hours earlier, the military had received the last distress signal. By the time they arrived, more than a dozen families in the village were already dead. Microbiologist Leah and two military personnel were sent to investigate. They discovered the crashed spacecraft. Inside it, Leah found a mysterious green organism. This organism had an incredibly fast growth rate. Just as Leah was about to examine it more closely, she suddenly got startled. She didn't realize that she had stepped on the mysterious virus beneath her feet. The virus quickly began spreading, soon penetrating through her shoes. People infected by this virus would begin climbing toward higher places. Eventually, their bodies would burst because they could not withstand the virus's rapid growth. The virus could even control a person's behavior and thoughts. The group realized that this virus was extremely terrifying, and it spread at an incredibly fast rate. Leah quickly collected a sample of the virus, planning to bring it back to the laboratory for research. They prepared to leave the area as quickly as possible, but just then Leah noticed a strange smell. The smell seemed to be coming from inside her protective suit. Leah's discomfort became worse and worse. Her body began heating up and she suddenly felt the urge to climb upward. By the time her companions realized something was wrong, it was already too late. The virus had spread throughout Leah's entire body. Very quickly, the virus took control of her behavior. Humanity finally realized how serious the situation was. After the team evacuated, the military immediately destroyed the area. The virus was then sealed away inside a secret base. 50 years later, the former research base had been turned into a warehouse. Until one day, rats in the underground area became infected with the virus, and Lucy's cat was infected because of those rats. A man later noticed strange noises coming from the trunk of his car. When he opened it, he discovered Lucy's cat inside, but by that time the cat had already become abnormal. The cat uncontrollably began climbing upward. The man tried to grab the cat, but an accident happened. The cat suddenly exploded, and the green liquid infected both the man and a nearby deer. By the time Jack and Lucy finally managed to escape outside, they happened to encounter a survivor from 50 years ago. The man brought them the highest level protective suits. Then he told them to carry a nuclear bomb down to level 4 underground. Once the countdown started, they would only have 10 minutes to evacuate. Meanwhile, the man would stay behind to eliminate the infected creatures. Jack and Lucy put on the protective suits and walked back into the warehouse. What they didn't know was that after they left, the man immediately destroyed the tires of all the vehicles. After securing the nuclear bomb, the two slowly lowered it into the depths underground. Just as they were about to activate the timer, they discovered that the man had already started the countdown when they first set out. Now Jack and Lucy only had 6 minutes left to escape. The two immediately panicked. They took off their protective suits so they could run faster. Fortunately, They successfully made it back to the surface. Another woman also arrived in time to help them escape. At the moment the explosion occurred, they managed to drive away just in time. The former laboratory was reduced to ashes. In the end, they successfully eliminated this terrifying